So I'm gonna go ahead and just record this one now while I'm thinking about it. I know it's the same day. I'll upload it tomorrow or something, I don't know. Um, so I'm building a house. I'm going to. It hasn't started just yet. Um, this will obviously be my first house that I've ever owned. Kind of a big deal for a young person nowadays. Everyone seems to have trouble finding a house and all that. There's a whole, you know, you know, it's hard to get a house when you're young. And it might be like mom's first house as well. I don't know, because mom and my sister are planning on moving down here after a few years. Um, once they finish out their schooling out there. Uh, so I'll be here building a house, and then they're gonna move down once it's, well, at least after I started construction on it. I don't know. Hopefully have it at least to a point where they can move in when it's their time. They're ready to come down. But this house is going to be serving a number of different purposes. I don't think purposes is a word. It doesn't sound like a word. But besides the fact that obviously it's going to be a house for us, which is something that we've never owned, and so it's kind of a big deal. We've always had to rent stuff. We've always had to get just the tiniest little thing because we've always had to scrape by. So it's kind of a big deal for us to actually have a house, especially one that I'll be building. So, in addition to that, it's also the house from my book that I'm writing, or my books that I'm going to write. It's going to be like this central location where a couple of different books happen, a couple of different ideas have it there. But then also, I really want to rescue foster animals and whatnot. I love animals, especially cats. My eyes are itchy. And there's a lot of cats down here. And I mean, there's a lot of animals in general, especially here on this hill, because I guess there's like a cell tower or something just down the road, not very far. But a lot of people seem to just leave unwanted animals like in the vicinity, and so they often will end up here on the property. That's where Sam came from, and I guess I'm not sure, but it seems like there's a cat roaming around here somewhere. Haven't seen it yet though, but I guess there's been like footprints, like cat footprints on the hoods of the cars. I've not seen any on my car, but I guess they've seen them on theirs. My uncle and all them. So there's quite a few animals that roam around here. In addition to that, they're at work. Like about a week ago, there was somebody that drove up, and they had a cat in their car, a little kitten, a little black kitten. So, excuse me, soda. So we were all, well, not all of us, but a couple of us were trying to get this cat out, tapping on it and trying to reach around and everything. I never even saw the cat actually in the car. But then we drove it, or I drove it into the oil bay where it's open underneath, so it'd be much easier to look up and see. After I did that though, I guess the cat disappeared because we didn't see it after that. A couple days later, all of a sudden we start hearing this meowing, this really loud meow coming from the pallets over in the garden center, because it's like right across the way from the tire area. So I went over there and I looked underneath some of the pallets and I found him just sitting there, this little black cat looking out at me. I was just like, So that's where he went. I ended up giving him a can of food that I was able to squeeze through the fence, because it was behind a fence too. So it's not like I could just reach under to even pet him or anything. He was behind a fence under a pallet. But I grabbed some food for him and I put it under there so he could eat it. And he kind of whined at me a little bit, but I was already done with work. I had to go home. But I haven't really seen him since. And I hate that, and I really feel like I should have stayed to try and get him out, because I think he might have, based on the way that he was kind of whining. It wasn't like a angry hiss, because it was a kitten. So I kind of feel like if I had just stayed, I might have been able to get him out, but I didn't. So I hate that. But anyway, I want to rescue animals, and I really want to rescue cats, and that's one thing I want to do with this house that I want to build. just taking animals that we find or that somebody else finds and try to rehabilitate them or whatever as best as we can. It's just something else that I want to do. Yeah, I just thought I'd kind of put it out there. Just let whoever's watching these videos know. It's kind of what I want to do. I want to do... This house is going to serve a lot of different purposes, like I just said. So, it is really important to me that I build it and that I get it done. Or at least started, for crying out loud. That's the thing that's killing me right now. I really want to start on it right now. But, just... Anyway. That's it. I want to rescue animals.